Hey everyone, let's get a look at week 5. Let's look at everything. This is the unlisted video all the way up until Sunday. We'll release this to the public after the games start. But if you're a subscriber for October, thank you. And we're going to go through all the games and really show you how we can start to compare how we do with these teams this week compared to the entire season. I'll explain what I'm talking about in a minute. So, all right, this is the order. This is the order that from experience, the algorithm produces the most accurate predictions and certainly winners over here, top down, in this order by projected margin of victory. So right at the top, you have a really strong Buffalo team this year against a Kansas City team that's defense has been suspect. And also Buffalo on the road has had an amazing time not giving up points. Now they played, let's take a look at their schedule, right? If we look at Buffalo and we look at the first 4 weeks, they just had this one game. This one game on the road where they shut out Miami. So that's why it looks like they're going to be really, really good on the road. And it's probably a little bit distorted. However, they also shut out Houston at home. Washington and Pittsburgh put up some points, but this Washington game wasn't even close. And, so they're looking really, really, really strong. So even though the algorithm's probably slightly distorting that a little bit, and that Kansas City will probably put up more than 9, it still is emphatically saying that Buffalo wins this game at plus 130. It's not even close. So hard to, even though we don't believe this, it's hard to fight with the algorithm here. And Buffalo on the money line is a really strong pick according to the algorithm. So that's got to be on there. We're going to start removing games and removing teams where it's too close to call or there isn't really a clear pick. So we'll remove them from the slicer as we go. Now, the Raiders and the Bears. Raiders, pretty good team, even though they didn't beat the Chargers in Los Angeles on Monday. Shorter week for them, but the Bears are weak, and the Bears are also missing Montgomery running. This is a higher scoring game because the Bears, I think, are giving up more points. They did just beat Detroit, but everybody beats Detroit. So the line is kind of consistent with the Raiders. And even though it says they win by 19, I think our projected scoring might be a little high here. But the Raiders have some offense. So anyway, point is the Raiders to win at minus 227 is what you go with here. So those two so far. Cincinnati supposed to beat Green Bay in Cincinnati. How about that? At plus 138. You could also get them plus 3 points. Green Bay has picked it up since that first loss in week 1 against New Orleans, so you get a really favorable line here. Are you going to win all these games up top? You think that Green Bay and Rodgers puts it together, so this is tough, and the algorithm may be lagging a little bit, but is way up there. And also in win score percentage. All these things are consistent, so if we're going to be doing a big round robin here, there's some nice payouts if you can hit these games. Might be a good idea to take the Bengals plus 3 because that's really helpful if they only lose by a field goal and you can push there. Patriots and the Texans, small. Houston sort of looked really bad in Buffalo last week. Patriots, trouble with Tampa Bay, but fought them hard. They got rid of Stephon Gilmore, I think, got traded to Carolina. That may affect this Carolina game because he's not really included in here yet. Don't think he had any stats for the season. So anyway, it likes the Patriots, but they're at minus 380, so this is a tougher line, and you can see that that's a lot of points. So tough call there. I would say it's probably not really a very bettable game at that line. So I'll remove New England off that. Tennessee and Jacksonville. Tennessee coming off the loss to the Jets showed they can lose the game, but still says that they win this game by more than a touchdown. They have to cover 4. The minus 189 is the play there because, once again, they might have trouble winning a game by more than a field goal late. So these 4 to win so far. Tampa Bay over Miami. Sounds fine. Line not good. Doesn't think they cover the 10 points. Thinks they only win by 7. Kind of an unbettable game there. So let's get rid of the Bucks. Baltimore and Indianapolis. Likes Baltimore at home to win by 6, but they got to cover 6.5. Bad line at minus 294. And also Indianapolis can play decent defense. It's not a good game to bet. not a good game to bet. I'd consider taking Baltimore to win, but Indianapolis is not all that bad of a team, and this could be sneaky even though it's in Baltimore. So let's get that off there. Chargers and the Browns. I like Chargers here. Only 6% win strength over the Browns, who've looked better. 24-17 though, only have to win by one, and they're minus 125. This game's in Los Angeles. I think that's just enough to put them over the top. That's why the algorithm's doing that. So let's leave that on there. The Chargers to win looks good. Ugh, Minnesota and Detroit. Well, at least this line is minus 405, and that can get me away from this. What Minnesota has done to us this season is disgusting. I don't like it. The algorithm's not reading this team properly. So I'm going to stay away from that game simply because there's no reason to bet it at minus 405. So Minnesota's going to be gone. Where are you at, Minnesota? Right here. Then Dallas and the Giants. Yeah, Dallas is looking good. Giants, nice win coming back against New Orleans. Wow, Cowboys favored by 7. Says they win by 4. Very, very tough game to bet. Almost unbettable. It really is. That's tough. Winning by a touchdown against NFC, it's tough. Got to take that off the list. Too bad. I mean, you can take Cowboys minus 320. I do think they win this game, but that's not a helpful line. Saints and Washington Football Club. Saints are going to find a way to beat Washington, a team that has trouble winning. Only minus 130. Says they win by a field goal. They got to cover only one. Sorry, only one. That consider even doing that. But the minus 130 is acceptable there. Saints should win that game, even though it's in Washington. Jets and the Falcons. Likes the Jets. Dude, how about that? Favors them by win strength. Favors them to win by a field goal. You get 3 points with them. Nothing wrong with taking the Jets plus 3 there, because they might lose a close one because they're the Jets, but Atlanta also has trouble winning games, so plus 3 is okay for the Jets there. Denver's supposed to beat Pittsburgh. Big, huge win strength number in favor of Denver here. You get even money on Denver, even though it's in Pittsburgh. They didn't show it well against Baltimore, but you got Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. You do not have a moving target like Lamar Jackson on Pittsburgh. You got a stationary buoy in Ben Roethlisberger. So plus 100, leave that on there. Here's the Thursday night game, which has now switched to the Rams slightly winning by 1. You've got a questionable Chris Carson running for Seattle, which is included in here. If we remove Chris Carson from this game, he's questionable with a neck. If we take him out of here, where is that? Questionable neck. If you take Chris Carson out of here and refresh this, it goes from 26-25 to now, look how much further the Rams move up. 26-22 now with Carson out of there, so even more in favor of the Rams. That is enough for me to not want to take Seattle to win that game, even though it's in Seattle. And also, they got a really strong win streak for the Rams. I think Stafford, I think that team's got energy. And I was looking at the players for fantasy today in this game, and DK Metcalf can produce, but he's always kind of hurt. And with Carson out, putting more pressure on Wilson, this could be a higher scoring game with a lot of throwing, and I think the Rams win that shootout game. So if you do one thing, man, it was so close, right? The over, which is at 54 or something, it's just unbettable. It's going to be a great game to watch. I'm playing fantasy there. You can't bet it. It's just too close. It's on a round robin. It's going to go either way. You just don't know. Niners against Arizona in Arizona. The line of minus 230 for Arizona is distorted with what our point projections say. It says a lot closer game. So it says take San Francisco plus 5. And remember, all these games that are down here deep on the list, a lot of times this opposing team covers. If you look historically what we have done, I'll show you the historical stats in a sec. That's why 5 points down here is probably the play, even though you don't want to, because you think Arizona's going to outscore them and continue to win. But supposed to be closer. So tough game. I'm going to pull it off, but San Francisco plus 5 is I believe, the play. And here, Carolina versus the Eagles with the new running back Stephon Gilmore coming in. And Christian McCaffrey's practicing again. It still gives him a high win strength here. It's minus 154. That's right along the lines. You got to take a minus 3. It's a tough game. I guess wait it out because you still don't have McCaffrey back. So you get out of that game as well. And this is what it leaves you with. This is what it leaves you with for the day. Buffalo, Raiders, Bengals, Titans, Chargers, Saints, Jets +3, and Denver. That leaves you with 8 games. And this Jets win score down here and Atlanta's propensity to potentially put up some points sometimes, but they really haven't been doing it lately. Oh, man, it's tough. It's a good line. I don't think you're going to win all of these. I think you got 1 or 2 in here that are not strong enough essentially for a big round robin. And it could be Cincinnati and Green Bay because Aaron Rodgers will be known to do something. That kind of we've been bad with Green Bay this season. So I would say actually pull Cincinnati off here. These ones have a better chance, in my opinion. That's 7. I like the lucky 7 there. +3 here. And maybe +3 here, given that this is only 130 and that's a field goal. So if you take these 2 +3, you're going to give yourself an even better chance. And that looks pretty good. Now that being said, I want to back up and I want to show you some stuff historically and why I say we have and have not been good with certain teams. So let's look at Green Bay for a second. Even though with Cincinnati, we've been pretty good with Cincinnati this season, going 2-1 and only having them lose to the Bears. How did they lose to the Bears? Did that really happen? They beat everybody else. Well, what about Green Bay? Green Bay, historically, we've also gone 2-1, had them losing the Saints, but we had them beating San Francisco and beating Pittsburgh just last week. So okay with Green Bay. Maybe I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth, and maybe Cincinnati is a decent pick to leave on there, and you should trust the algorithm. Other teams that, how have we done with the Rams? We've been 3-0 and 2-1 on the spread with the Rams. How about Seattle? 2-2. Even more of a reason to potentially go with the Rams tonight, in my opinion. So yeah, if you start going down the list, say, how have we done with all these teams? Look at Arizona, great. Atlanta, we've only picked them once and they lost. Another reason maybe to take the Jets. Ravens, we've gone 2-0 with them. 1-1 spread. Buffalo, we've gone 3-1 because we had the Steelers beating them early on in the season, and we had them barely beating the Steelers, and the Steelers barely beat them. That's right. Carolina, we've been 2-1, but they got no McCaffrey. Bears, we've been 1-0. It does not pick the Bears to win, so this is another good sign to go against the Bears with, who is it? Who's playing the Bears? We'll figure it out in a minute. Cincinnati, 2-1. Cleveland, we've gone only 1-0, but we hardly picked Cleveland. Dallas, we've never had a pick. Denver, we've gone 2-0, and it picks Denver again today. The Lions, 0-1. You should never pick them. 2-1 with the Packers. We've been 0-1 with Houston. We've been 1-1 with Indianapolis. 0-1 with Jacksonville. 2-2 with Kansas City. Another reason to go against Kansas City and go with Buffalo, right? We've been better with Buffalo at 3-1, and even called a close game against the Steelers. It's not calling a close game today, and thinks they're going to, this Sunday, I think they're going to beat the Chiefs handily. Gone 2-1 with the Raiders, 0-1 with the Chargers. Now that makes me reevaluate a little bit, because it is favoring them to win that game this week, but it's kind of close, right? Rams 3-0, another reason to pick the Rams, and then it's good with the Rams. Miami 1-0, the only time we picked them, but we're going against them this week. Minnesota 0-1. Patriots 1-2, and it picks the Patriots this week against Houston. So careful there. Saints 0-2. Ooh, Saints 0-2. Yeah, watch out when it picks the Saints. And it does this week too, right? Giants 0-2. Nothing with the Jets. Eagles 0-2, picking against them. Steelers 0-2 with us. Niners, once we got them. Seattle 2-2. Tampa Bay 2-0. Tennessee 0-1. The only time I picked Tennessee, they lost to the Jets. And they're playing again this week against a weaker team. Washington, right? Saints are playing Washington. Washington, we've been 2-1. So looking at that snapshot of everything again, let's reevaluate one more time before we go here to come up with what we can do. And of course, this will change if there's injury report changes and things like that. But here's what it likes. It really likes Buffalo for those reasons we said before. It really likes the Raiders. it does like Cincinnati. It's tough to turn this down. They have a pretty good defense. Are they going to? I know it's tough, but it's there. I'm a little more hesitant with this Patriots, even though Houston's so bad. Like I said, there's nothing to play here, so that's why you stay away from this game. Tennessee could accidentally blow into Jacksonville, even though it says they won't, and they're going to run over Jacksonville's defense, which I guess the Jets' defense is a little better. Can't do anything there. You can't do anything there. So here's that game where we haven't done well with the Chargers this year, and we haven't picked the Browns much. It makes me want to stay away from this game, especially because they're minus 125. Stay away from Minnesota because the line's terrible, and I don't trust them. This line's terrible. This line's okay, and I don't have faith in Washington. Why should you? And the Saints probably are going to find a way to win instead of blowing it like they did to the Giants. This is looking more and more juicy, this Jets game, at plus 155. The Denver game looks good because we had been good with Denver, and I don't have faith in Roethlisberger. The Rams looked better. This game probably just go for an over. What's the over in the Arizona game? Let's find out. The Arizona game is for only 50, and it's predicting 49 points. And it doesn't take much to get this game up above 50 points. So it's probably the over there. And this game's still too close to call. So, one more time. It's going to be maybe the over in that game. Not Atlanta. Baltimore, nope, too close. Buffalo, yes. Carolina, too close. Just picking the Bears? No, it's not picking the Bears. Cincinnati, God, I want to leave that up there because it's so high on the list. And the win score is good. It's just, it's saying don't give the Packers the respect that you want to give them. I'm going to leave it up there because I just don't want to doubt the algorithm with a pick that high up there. Patriots game, unbettable. Titans are okay to win that game at minus 189 because Derrick Henry still can run through that defense. Tampa Bay, unbettable. Chargers, too risky now. Too risky, and the line's not good enough. So we're getting that. I feel like we're saving ourselves getting away from that Chargers game. Minnesota, I don't trust, even though it's Detroit. The line's just not good enough anyway. Dallas, God, I want to play them to win, but it's at home too. They're going to almost leave them on to win. I know it's minus 320. Man, I hate Dallas, but there's not. What do you do there? Because you say, what do you do there? I'm taking it off. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to play games you don't have to do. Saints only at minus 130 is worth it against Washington. Jets at plus 155. I'm leaving it on there. I think they're going to win that game. Win 2 in a row. Denver, leave them on there. Rams, leave them on there. That gives you this. And then maybe the over in the Arizona game. So that's 8. That's 8 right there. With a chance of if you don't trust Cincinnati at home because, but you should, according to the algorithm. You should. All right, that's what it is, guys. Long video. I hope we all learned something, and we're probably gonna have a better week even than last week. I would expect better than 10-6 because the only things that look scary on here, in my opinion, really scary, and that I don't trust is maybe Cincinnati, even though it's way up there. I careful in this Ravens game, careful in this Chargers game. I know careful in Minnesota. And, Denver might lose to the Steelers if the Steelers are waking up. Philadelphia might beat Carolina here, and San Francisco might beat Arizona, apparently, according to this. So, even though that still comes out about 10-6, I think top down, you don't have much to worry about all the way down to, here. So, hopefully it'll be good. All right, good luck, everyone. May all your picks be winning.